As someone who's listened to Uchis before she even had an album out, before Por Vida was out, before any of that was up, this is a great album. It's very, very difficult to follow that up with an album that I also am going to like just as much as the previous. It's hard to follow that up. So Isolation for me was one of the best albums I had heard all of 2018. She's angry on this album, although it's not like it doesn't outwardly feel angry. But I sense an undertone of like angriness and frustration. On Isolation, there was more of a socio-political message. Your teeth in my neck. Gotta get up. Interlude. Tyrant. Even Tyrant. It's a love song, but she's using like a tyrant, authoritarian, as a metaphor for the love. So there's like an ongoing socio-political message in Isolation album that is not on this album. Top5rapwebsite.com. You already know what's going on. Today, reacting to new Uchis album, Red Moon and Venus. Jump right into it. Track number 1, In My Garden. Turn that up. Shout out to Uchis, you know, love Uchis on this channel.
I love you.
Alright, so that's track number 1. A little intro / interlude, whatever the case may be. Track number 2, I Wish You Roses. And we got some interesting producers on this album too. On track number 2, Dylan Wiggins, Josh Crocker. Not too familiar with those guys, but I do know Darkchild produces on this album. So does J Pounds and DJ Khalil. It's like a weekend track, low key. For sure sound like The Weeknd could be doing this song. Need a haircut, but it's all good. Well, I was gonna pause it. Let me let it go. Let me finish the verse. I wish you roses while you can still smile. So, I think that has something to do with the phrase, give people their flowers while they can still smell them. My mic is gonna die soon. That's why I keep checking over here. I'm looking at it, but we'll take care of that on the back end. So I was actually worried that Uchis would go the more Spanish speaking song route, because that's what's in right now. Obviously Bad Bunny is major, the biggest artist out right now. You could argue, I don't know who would argue that Bad Bunny's like the biggest thing out right now. Selling out stadiums, arenas, etc. So I thought Uchis might have gone more in that route. If you look at her top songs on Tidal or Spotify, a lot of them are Spanish speaking songs. So I thought the data would tell her just do Spanish songs. You know, even though she has a very cult following off her, Por Vida album and her Isolation album from 2018, I thought the data would say, hey, go the Spanish route. This is where your most popular songs are. This is where the most popular thing is happening in music right now. Go that route. But I like that she's still, on the same wavelength as she was on Isolation. Obviously, if you watch this channel, Isolation was my favorite album of 2018. And there was a lot of great albums to come out that year. Nipsey, Victory Lap, Swimming by Mac Miller, Daytona by Pusha T, etc., etc. Isolation was him or her. Weekend though. I think that's pretty much it. Let me fast forward to the end. Y'all know I'll fast forward to the end on these songs because these reactions is long enough. I'm sitting here reacting to an entire album. By the way, no one else does this on YouTube. Like, people skip ahead or they skip parts of songs. I listen literally to the entire album. So to make it easier on you guys and myself, I just skip the end. Like, if it's not anything significant happening, I'll ingest that during my own time. But while I'm with y'all, let's just move it along. Track number 3, Worth the Wait, featuring Omar Opalo. Let's see who's on the beat. J Pounds. This is a song with J Pounds, Vicky Nguyen, Omar Apollo. Okay, she's still on that wavelength from ISO, so I like that. Kind of has a Tyler Creator feel on production.
The mirrors on my ceiling, so I can watch you tap me. Deep in my knees, I got weak. Baby, you know I'm a freak. When I get naughty and I say I treat you all so right. Every day and every night I do. I can't get rid of you. Like I'm stuck to my shoes.
This song, obviously the song is like about sex, like it's worth the wait, you deserve a taste, but you could think about this like food too, you know, when Danish cooking, it's been taking a while. If it's worth the wait, now I need a taste, you know, or maybe I'm just hungry right now, I don't know. Some deep lyrics. Track number 4, Love Between. Let's see who's on the production. Oh yeah, it's that old school feel. Josh Crocker, producer. Chimes. And just peep how I'm stomping it during the verse. I know. It's like they slowed down the BPM. Like they had the beat made, but then they just slowed down the BPM. Very slow, methodical, intentional. I fuck her with this already. This song slow you down. Even her lyrics. But sweet. Da, da, da. kind of psychedelic too. A little trippy feel to it. Okay. I actually want to finish this whole song because I like this song. Okay. Yeah, that's probably my favorite song so far. Like I said, very slow, methodical production and lyrics. Like she put her lyrics, her vocals on that track, and then it matched the slow, intentional feel of the production. Kind of trippy at some points. I like the chime. It's on my throat. Pause. Track number 5, All Mine. Scenes on the production here. Grades and Al Shucks. Alright, the BPM picked up here. Drums quicker. Stark change from the last track, Love in Between. Some falsetto by Kelly. Bassy. When she says that's all me, for some reason there are certain points on this album where I almost hear The Weeknd. Like in Kali Uchis' voice, I hear The Weeknd saying it. I don't know what's making me hear that. Maybe it's a vocal effect that The Weeknd also uses. Maybe it's just her vocal inflection, but it's my second time saying that on this album. Back into it. Weekend, huh? Nice hook, nice chorus. Make you cry, huh? What? So this song, she talking to all the men, or she talking to the, I don't know which way she go, her sexual orientation. She's talking to the people who want her man or her woman. Like, now that's all me. Okay, that's all me. That's all me. That was all mine. Drums and the bass combination, kind of funky, you know, gives that funky vibe. We'll jump right into track number 6, Fantasy, featuring Don Toliver. So shout out to Don Toliver, he got some good verses, some good hooks. Let's see who's on the beat. P2J and Jahan Sweet. I always try to get a producers a shout out, you know. That sounds like Party Next Door. I want you. Turn up. I want to find a. Sorry, I'm drinking this protein shake and there's oats in here, and it's just like getting caught in the esophagus. So yeah, I like this production on this album so far. A lot of different looks. Like on one song, there's these very slow, methodical drums. The next song, very intentional drums, funky bass. This song, more up speed. Different producers, but it's all keeping a similar vibe, despite the beats all going in different directions for the most part. So I like that everything sounds cohesive, and I think the vocal effect, there's like a vocal effect on Kali Uchis this entire album, and it's like part of the reason why I'm hearing The Weeknd in some of these, in some moments when Kali Uchis is singing. One, because Kali Uchis, she has a high-pitched voice, and The Weeknd often sings in a high-pitched voice. So when you match that with this vocal effect, like this kind of cloudy, airy, echo type vocal effect, I can start to understand why I'm hearing The Weeknd in some parts. Also, similar topics. You know, they both sing about love, and kind of edgy type singing about love though. Not like, Kali Uchis has a song where she's like, "Oh, I'm so in love with you," blah blah blah. But she also has a song where she's like, "No, that's all me." Like, to all you chicks who want my guy, like that's all me. And The Weeknd kind of has a similar thing where he kind of puts girls and drugs and juxtaposes them with each other. Well, in his earlier work, which was a lot edgier than his current, but he's a pop star, so who cares? So it's not an insult. But anyways, I like this beat because, again, it is very different than the rest, but it's cohesive and it fits in the album. And I also want to say, before I start this song again, very good sequencing on this album. Very good sequencing. It's hard to get tired of the album or get fatigued listening because there are so many different looks production-wise, even though this is all in a similar vein. Back into it. I feel like I talk so much right there. Gotta cut it shorter. Oh yeah, play this in the club though. Weekend again, no? Am I tripping? What's Don Toliver about to do with this? I'm wondering. I don't even understand what she's saying. It's just a vibe, though. Don Toliver has never disappointed me with a feature. It's Party Next Door bag, I ain't gonna lie. So we're gonna end it right there. We're gonna end it right there again. I try to save time. Man, that's a dope song. Probably, maybe my favorite song, second favorite. I forget what I said was my favorite song before. Let me see. Okay, Fantasy might be my favorite. Track number 7. Como te quiero yo. Translate that in the comments if you are a Spanish speaker. Let's see who's on the production. Albert Hype, Manuel Lara.
No me conviene, so fall in love with you. It's too late to close that door.
She did that on Tyrant, on the Isolation album. She did that same. She did that on Tyrant. Look that up. That's what it means. Como te quiero yo. How I love you.
I don't wanna fuck you with makeup all night, all day. En la noche hasta amanecer. Ya no quiero más problemas. Te quiero en la cama y sin más complicación.
Okay. That song, again, very deep bass, heavy bass. Even though some of it may be subdued, there was a heavy presence of bass. But all in all, the song seemed more focused on her vocals. The beat wasn't as prominent as it was in the track prior. So again, just like I was saying earlier, a lot of different looks. Each track so far is like a slightly different look. Track number 8, Hasta, Cuando. I'm gonna look this up too. After I see who's on the production, Albert Hype and Manuel Lara. So it looks like they're handling the Spanish titled songs. Let me look this up. Even when. The beat kind of reminds me of, I don't know if y'all remember that OVO group, Majid Jordan, but that's what it's given. That's what the young folks say nowadays, right? That's what it's given. I do like those drums though. Wow. Spin the verse.
Everyone hate me if that makes you feel better. Whatever makes you feel better. Your girl talks shit about me just to feel better. About the fact that you're still obsessed with me years later. At the end of the day, she'd eat my pussy if I let her. At the end of the day, she'd trade lives with me if I let her. So, whatever makes you feel better. Por acá, acelerando corazones y despertando envidias como siempre.
Translate this, y'all.
Yeah. Everybody hates me. Please don't ask me about no old shit.
Okay. Yeah, she's in her feelings on that one. Mad, angrily in her feelings. Track number 9, Endlessly. Let me see gotta pause. We gotta pause because this is the song where the legend Rodney, aka Dark Child Jenkins, is on the production along with Marvin Tone World Hemmings. So, shout out to Dark Child. I'm just perplexed because all these songs, even though there's different producers, like there's no producer that's credited on this song that's any different. I mean that's the same as anyone else on previously on the album, but all the songs sound so in pocket together, production wise. So I'm just like, how is that happening, right? And I'm trying to pinpoint what it is that's making it sound like that. Other than obviously the common denominator is Kali Uchis, but all these beats sound like they were done by the same producer in the same studio session. Not saying they sound the same, but they all cohesive. Yeah, that'd be crazy. West Coast synth. Producer's fucking it up, I ain't gonna lie. Alright, that's my new favorite song. Yeah, not much to say. Favorite song so far though. Anyway, track number 10, Moral Conscience. As per usual, let's look at the producer, Dylan Wiggins on the beat. That odd future synth. Drums kind of feel like a metronome. I think that was Kali Uchis. I don't think that was like a sound. It sounded like her voice. Told y'all, when I heard it the first time, I was like, I don't think that's a sound effect. I think that's her actual voice. And there she go. drums, because of those melodies. When you're all alone, maybe the most catchy song. We'll go right into track number 11, Not Too Late Interlude. So it's an interlude. How long is it? And who's on the production? And it's one of them long interludes, 2 minutes 30 seconds. Claremont the second on the beat. This is a song, bro. It's like not an interlude, it's a whole song. This is longer than some of the songs in this album. Shout out to Kaiba, Seto Kaiba.
You won't find me twice unless I promise.
Muddy drums.
No, I'm not your
Muddy bass.
You get me honest. But it's not too late to admit you love me.
Yo, this album gotta have like a similar executive producer or something. This whole album has this like cloud over it. Every beat has like this cloud over it that's making every song. And this is not a critique. This is actually a compliment. I'm just trying to figure out why everything fits so cohesively despite so many different producers and despite so many different beats going in different directions. Like this is muddy drums, muddy bass, subdued drums way in the background. Like all you can hear is like the hi-hat and then muddy bass. These other songs, some of them heavy bass, fast drums, prominent drums. Some songs her voice is the lead, beats in the back. He's gotta have like a similar executive producer who is putting like an overtone effect on every song. That's why it all fits so well together and sounds so cohesive. That's my only explanation. So, if you have intel on this, let me know.
It's not too late to admit you love me. It's not too late to admit you love me. Love me, love me, love me, love me, love me. Conozco y en lo que sentirse fuera del lugar. Cuando te vi sentí por fin que encontré algo real. Me encantan esos besitos con azúcar. Tu mamá me dijo que yo me parezco a una puta. Dile que este cuerpo es arte.
Puta, I heard that.
Esta figura es una dulzura de mi cintura y este culo natural.
Culo.
Quieres comer el pussy se nota. It's not too late to admit you love me. It's not too late to admit you love me. It's not too late to admit you love me. Love me, love me, love me, love me, love me.
Make sure I'm not missing on you. Okay. Track number 2, or track number 12, Blue. My favorite color. Shout out to Uchis.
Not broken yet.
Yusuf Dias and Josh Crocker on the beat.
Sometimes it sure feels like
Use hip hop drums.
when you treat me like a stranger. How do you get cold so fast?
Sound like a different person. Doesn't even sound like her.
Is there much to make me ever walk away? 'Cause I love you way too. But you're breaking my heart with your body language. Wanna feel your hands on my heart. 'Cause what's the point of all the pretty things in the world if I don't have you?
Very what's the word? Spacey, galactic type beat. Feels like outer space. Oh, some saxophone. yeah, this is nice. Nice beat. This beat don't sound good at nighttime, this whole song. Oh, she hurt too. She hurt on this album. Saxophone out of nowhere. Weekend vibes again. Style. Okay. I'll say that song. That's another one of my favorites. That song and Endlessly. Those is the ones right there. Track number 13, Deserve Me, featuring Summer Walker. It's the biggest feature she probably got on this album. Producer, Aaron Paris. Wawa James, Chris LaRocca, Wonder Girl. And it's the longest song on the album right here. Let's see what they're doing on this. The pattern. Summer Walker. Auto-tune? Summer Walker's verse right here reminds me of Kehlani on that SSS album, Sweet Sexy Savage, I think was the name. I haven't heard that album in a while, so I'll just leave that there. Let y'all soak in that for a minute. Toxic. Explicit. So this is obviously the single, right? nigga ain't talking about manipulative. These are the two most manipulative girls in the entire. Come on, bro. The way y'all be talking to y'all music, you complaining about a manipulative nigga? Come on, man. I think that's about it. Okay, Summer Walker feature. It fit in there, and that's gonna bring Kylie some new listeners, because obviously her and Summer Walker have different fan bases, so they come together on a common topic and combine fan bases. Track number 14. We're nearing the end. Moonlight. No, not Jay-Z Moonlight. On 444. Cashmere Cat. Leon Mitchell's and Benny Blanco. Alright, so this song could fit on Isolation. This song, production-wise, does sound different, and even in Kali Uchis' voice. This sounds like a cut off Isolation studio sessions. Could be wrong. Lip gloss is popping. Even on that falsetto, yeah. I just wanna get higher with my love. Kiss, kiss, Chris Brown. I just wanna get higher in the morning. I just wanna get higher with my love. Looking dolly, I think I may go out tonight. I just wanna get high in the morning. Another funky beat though. I'm gonna let this one play out because I'm liking this beat. Oh, y'all gotta let that play out. Okay. So we are at the outro in a timely manner. Track number 15. And the outro. Happy Now. Which I assume she's not based on this album's lyrics. Hold on. We got another legend alert on the production. Soundwave from TDE. Shout out Soundwave. He did some of Kendrick's best beats. And DJ Khalil. Shout out DJ Khalil. He did a beat for Dre. What was it called? I forget the name of the song. Kush. He did Kush. A lot of people thought that was Dre on the beat. No, that was DJ Khalil. And I've seen this name before. Mind Sign. I think this is the only song that's been 3 minutes and something seconds. Every other song has been like 2 minutes something or 4 minutes. This is like, I think the only song that's been like 3 minutes something. Another different look, totally different look sound wise.
Cosmic conditions conspired against us. 'Cause you and me got chemistry, but that's what their timing is. It's right away, never rushed. Our spark turned to flames. Don't gotta listen to what they say. It was never the business anyway. Let's you and me start over today. Be happy. Can we be happy now? I wanna be happy now. Can we be happy now? Can we be
They need to put this song in GTA 6. Put this song in there.
Can we be happy now? Baby, you miss me, you should text. Won't ever forget me, you won't. Promise you'll take the stars of the sky and come all align just for us.
Okay. What was that dance called? Shuffling. You can shuffle to this. For your shufflers out there, shuffle to this. Yeah, there's some dance floor type shit. She's not stuffing it with lyrics. She letting it do what it need to do. Okay, beat switch.
Peace of mind.
You gonna get a diatribe at the end?
Gotta free my mind. Don't wanna think about
Tyler the Creator chords.
the heartaches. Just wanna remember all the good things.
They gotta bring that beat back in. Got to. Gotta bring that beat back in, man. Let it ride out with that beat.
Peace of mind.
We're not gonna bring it back in. We need that beat one more time.
Free my mind. Just wanna remember all the good things.
Okay. That was Red Moon in Venus by Uchis. If you're into the astrology, what does Red Moon in Venus mean? For me, listening to this album as someone who's listened to Uchis before she even had an album out, before Por Vida was out, before any of that was up, right? This is a great album. And you know, with me, one of the most difficult things is to follow up, for me, I'm talking about for me as a listener, with expectations from a musician, right? I try not to have expectations because expectations lead to disappointment. But when I have one of my favorite artists, like a Uchis, like a Kendrick Lamar, like a what have you, when they release something that's so great, like Isolation, it's very, very difficult to follow that up with an album that I also am going to like just as much as the previous. It's hard to follow that up. So Isolation for me was one of the best albums I had heard all of 2018. 2018 being a very strong year for music. Arguably the best year for music 2018, 2010, 96, 94 in my lifetime. It's like top 5. So, and I had my favorite artists all dropped during 2018. Nipsey, Mac Miller, Pusha T, everybody dropped. Go on top5rapwebsite.com. Look at my end of year 2018 list. There's like, I think like 100 albums on that list. So many albums I loved. Even albums I loved were like number 11, 12. Because there was so much good stuff that came out that year. Kali Uchis' Isolation was number 1. And that was an album in this same vein that I'm talking about. I'd heard the Por Vida teasers. Kali Uchis, she had released teasers for Por Vida. It was like a song and video mashup. Like, those videos don't exist anymore for whatever reason. I think you may be able to find it on Vimeo, but I mean, they've been pretty much wiped from the internet. I had such high expectations for Por Vida based on those teasers because I like those song teasers so much. When Por Vida came out, although it was good, it did not meet the high expectations that I put on it. So then when you have Isolation finally coming out in 2018, there's almost 5 years in between since the Por Vida teaser and Isolation was released, so you're talking about 4 or 5 years. When that finally came out, I'm feeling like, yo, it's been so long. Like, she's just now releasing now. I'm already kind of disappointed from Por Vida, even though it was not a bad album. The expectations were so high, and I'm also feeling like, yo, she can't do it. And then she did it. And I'm like, okay, this not only met my expectations, it exceeded my expectations. Isolation did. So now you got 5 years later after Isolation, 2019, 20, 21, 22, 20, it's 23. So it's 5 years to follow up Isolation with an album that I have. This is not everybody. I have such high expectations for it. So to follow up Isolation with something like this, where the quality is just as good, like this is a great album also, it does not leave anything to be desired. For me, Por Vida left something to be desired based on my expectations from the teasers. And she had a mixtape too before that. To follow up this, even with the expectations I have, and it meets my expectations, for me, that is exceedingly difficult. Because I'm someone who tries not to put expectations on an artist, but it happens. So I say all that to say, this album is a great album. It has met my expectations. Production-wise, very great. Production-wise. Song structure is there. Everything is here. Polished. Topics. Variety in sound. Everything is here, bro. Like this is just as good as Isolation. Now, obviously, I've had more time to sit with Isolation. I have Isolation on CD. I have Isolation on vinyl. It's one of my favorite albums ever. But this is, even though this may not be my favorite yet, this is my first listen, I know objective as like one can be with music, this quality is just as good as what was on Isolation. Now, obviously, I have memories and I have years with Isolation, so I prefer that album. But who's to say years from now I won't prefer this? Now, I will say Isolation. Well, I'll say this. This album, Red Moon and Venus, she's more angry. Kali Uchis is more angry on this album. You can feel the anger. Like, Red Moon and Venus, what does that mean? I wouldn't be surprised if it meant, like, someone that's in conflict, angry. She's angry on this album, although it's not like it doesn't outwardly feel angry, but I sense an undertone of like angriness and frustration. On Isolation, there was more of a socio-political message. Your teeth in my neck, gotta get up, interlude. Tyrant, even Tyrant, it's a love song, but she's using like a tyrant, authoritarian, as a metaphor for the love. So there's like an ongoing socio-political message in Isolation album that is not on this album. This album is like anger from your partner. That's what feel like birthed this album. Your partner's making you angry. You're doing toxic shit. They're doing toxic shit, and an album is born out of it. That's what this feels like. But I mean, but that's fine. if I had to rate this album out of 5 stars, I can go on and on, but really I need more time to sit with this album. I need to get this album physical copy, so I can just throw it in a CD in my car and just let it play day after day after day after day after day after day until I know the album, like I do with most of my other favorite albums. If I had to rate this album out of 5 stars, on one listen, I know I don't like rating albums on the first listen, because how can you rate an album on the first listen? Like, it took people months to make the album, years, and then you're gonna rate it on one listen. But I give this 4.5 stars out of 5. Only reason I don't give it 5, and I rarely give a 5, and the last album to get a 5 on one listen, I think, was Bandana, which was back, I think, 2018, 2019. The reason Bandana got a 5 is because it also did what this album did for me. Bandana did the same thing that this album did. Is it followed up a release that I really loved? Bandana followed up Pinata. It followed up a release that I really love with an album that's just as good. This album did the same thing. It followed up Isolation with an album that's just as good. Reason I don't give a 5 is because I don't fully understand the album. It's one listen. But it's gonna easily be 5-star album. I'll say it's a 4.5, 5-star album. Everything is here. I'm perplexed at times at how cohesive the album sounds, despite there being so many different producers and despite there being so many different directions in sound. Slow methodical drums, fast drums, muddy bass, heavy bass, different BPMs, vocal forward tracks. Like, there's but everything sounds cohesion despite there being so many different directions. Kali Uchis free on this album. She feels free. There's also an undertone of angriness, but it's not an angriness like how Adele's albums are. They're sad albums, and it's like a heavy overtone of sadness. You're going to listen to the album and get sad, bro. This album is not angry in that way. Like, you're not going to listen to this album and start feeling angry. It's just a slight undertone that you got to really pay attention to hear.